Alright guys, we got a 2001 Volkswagen Jetta. It's got the 2.0 in it, the AEG motor. And what we're going to do is, we had a timing belt had gone bad, so I've already removed the front of the timing. And what we're going to do is, when it ran it went off about 8 teeth is what it ended up doing. So it actually bent some valves, so we have to do some repairs here and see how bad it is. Alright, I've already removed the timing belt. As you see down below right here, you have your tensioner right there. It's 12 mil, actually a 13 millimeter bolt. Loosen it up so it slides off, so you can slide the timing belt off. Timing belt's already off. Already moved the power steering reservoir out of the way. I've already taken the top plastic cover off. Go ahead and remove your vacuum lines right here. We had another line right here. There was a coolant line that goes down here. Right underneath this right here, you have one that goes to your brake booster. You're going to go ahead and remove your throttle cable. And this comes out like this. And it pretty much just, once it comes up underneath this little nub right here, you just kind of wiggle it and go back and forth, and it will actually pop out. It's just a little ball in there. So once that's out, undo right here, just fold this back around out of the way. Okay, I pretty much unbolted a lot of the stuff. This is so I can go through faster and get you, this is going to be part one, just getting it tore down. I've already undone this is actually like a little adapter to lift it up so you can get to it, because the valve cover is down so far underneath your top cover, so this lifts it up. You just twist it out of the way, undid the clamps on this, undid your electrical here, I undid the electrical here. So you just pull this right on out. There's a couple more vacuum lines that go down right here. Undo those. Pull this out of there. I've already unbolted the intake, but one of the things, you got two bolts back here that hold the back up. They're 6 millimeters, so get your 6 millimeter socket, feel back there, you'll find them, undo them. Then you're going to come up front and you got two that are hidden right down below right here. You'll see the little notch right here. All I do is I take a long Allen wrench, just like that, and then I take my wrench like this, and usually has a little breaker bar, undo it. Once it's done, I just twist it on out of there. And once it's done, get this one done the same way. Once those are undone, you got three up in the front right here. Once they're already removed, I mean, it's just literally, once they're done, and we'll be down to the valve cover. But this pretty much makes it so the intake's off. Once the intake's off, you can get down there. It opens right up once this comes off. So we're also going to do on here, once this comes off, also there was I already did the your throttle position sensor. It's already undone. Alright, now we're down to the engine. You're going to have a couple, this is part of the front timing cover. You're going to remove this guy out of here. Yeah, these are your front rails that hold down the valve cover. And it looks like this thing's had a little bit of an oil leak for a little while, so we're going to clean everything up too before it goes back together. You pull out this little cover, so make sure there's little spacers too that sit up on top of here. Make sure it's not there. I've pretty much undone the valve cover. It's 10 millimeter bolts right there. The front is 5 millimeter, by the way. The little Allens are 5 millimeter. It's the back two and the bigger ones that are 6 millimeter. So once you get that out of the way, you pretty much lift this guy right on out of there. Okay, I don't want to come out. There we go. So that's out. This right here just lifts right off, and boom, you're down there. Got some Torx bolts down there. So once the Torx bolts are removed, we're going to remove the back exhaust. Once I get the exhaust out of there, we're going to lift the head out of there, and I'll show you what we're down to, and then this will be the end of part one. I might even, in this part, I'll show you which valves are bent, and then we'll go to part two. Alright guys, I want to show you real quick. I went ahead and pulled off the intake, pulled out the injectors. Just set your injector rail, fuel rail over there. It's got your injectors in it. Pulled out all the wiring right here. Just sit outside. Make sure it don't get down in your fan blades and stuff, just in case something kicked on. Now the other thing you got down here is where your coolant is. It goes inside the head right there. You got two 10mm bolts, so it's hidden down all below everything under here. Let's see if you can see them. There's one back there, and then there's one right there. So yeah, they're in there a little bit. Once you get that out of there, that's pretty much it. You got a little shield, heat shield that comes up off the back right here. I went in and took that out. 6mm bolts. You got one 5mm bolt. Once that's removed, and then what you want to do is undo your exhaust right here. But that's what your exhaust looks like underneath that back shield. Once that's out of there, oh, don't forget, you have there's a 13mm bolt right here that holds on this cover right here. Once that's pulled out of there, let me finish that out, and that's loose. That way the head can come off. So now I'm down to the housing over here for the coolant. Undo the exhaust, and then I'm going to pull the head off, and then we'll show you a quick view of underneath and what to look for the bent valves. Alright guys, I went ahead and I got the head off, and as you see, we had, when the timing belt popped, it actually broke a valve. So, and the valve is upside down and sticking inside the piston. So we're going to have to actually pull the oil pan off and pop out the piston. We're going to put a couple new pistons in here. So it's going to be pretty much a brand new motor when I'm done. Let me show you what the head looks like. Now what I was going to do was going to show you we can flip it upside down, and then what you do is you turn it to where the valves are supposed to be down, and you can pour liquid on there and see which one's leaking. But this one's very apparent which one's leaking. As you can see, it's bent pretty bad. That one's missing. The other one on the other side is bent in. That one's bent. That one's bent. Those two, believe it or not, don't look bent, but I wouldn't take any chances on them. So anyways, I'm actually probably going to go ahead. Now if it was just the intake valves is what it looks like. Actually it was exhaust valves. If it was one or the other, I would replace those set of valves. $10 a pop, go for it. But with that kind of bend on there, I'm probably going to go to a junkyard and try to find a good used head. Down here where I am, we can get them for about 40 bucks. So I'm going to start looking for an AEG head and do the swap on that, and I'll order in brand new pistons, rings, and stuff from there. I'll go ahead and put a valve job on these. I'll go ahead and do valve guide seals. So like I said, we're going to freshen this motor up after the timing belt broke. Actually, timing belt didn't break. The pulley, it apparently had a backfire somewhere, and it broke the keyway on the lower pulley, and it turned 8 teeth, and that was just enough to do the damage you see. So you can imagine when you're going down on the interstate and you take your foot off the gas and the timing belt breaks, you already know what kind of damage you're going to do, because this was at a very low speed when this happened. Part 2 will be when I'm starting to put it back together.